Hi,
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. I'm Rebecca.
Okay, nice
What
to meet you too. My name is Shaheen. I'm from India,
from India. Fantastic. What part of India are you from?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Ah, okay. I have been to India a few times, so I know where is Maharashtra.
Oh, great.
The city that you live in now, um, the question was, did you grow up in that city or have you moved there from somewhere elsewhere?
Well, I'm born and brought up in this city only.
Oh, fantastic. And what do you do there?
I'm running my own English medium school here.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. So, great. So you have an English medium school. So what made you decide, okay, I'm going to go on Cambly? What is it that you felt you needed from Cambly?
Actually, even though I'm running a school, I didn't get an opportunity to teach students, so my English is not that good.
That sounds all right to
I
me.
have free time nowadays due to lockdown. I have free time.
Mm.
So I thought that I should brush up my communication skill. I started my YouTube channel and I recorded a few videos. And when I watched my own videos, I found that my pronunciations are horrible. So I'm working on my
Oh, don't be so
pronunciation.
harsh on yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. It's not horrible at all. So, don't give yourself such a hard time. I think one of the things that you will get from Cambly is that most people come to Cambly and they start very harsh on themselves, and they really think, and the best thing about Cambly is it teaches you to just trust your own English as well and to feel like, you don't have to be absolutely perfect. In fact, I know people who are naturally, in English fluent speakers who by no means are perfect. Yeah. So the bar that I find English learners set themselves such a high bar, it's really
I think it's necessary until and understand you set a goal and you thought that I'll raise the bar of my standard. Uh,
mm.
One may not develop.
Oh, of course. But I think that the one thing is that one can hold you back because English language, any language, is communication. And
Yes,
sometimes
exactly.
you have to just jump into the lion's den, you have to just do it. And too many people hold back from doing that because they want to be at a certain stage before they feel confident to do that, or they give themselves a hard time about it. So I guess the only thing I'm saying is it's just, Cambly just teaches you just to jump in there and just trust your own communication skills,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? So, how long have you been with Cambly then?
It's about 1.5 months.
And how have you found it so far? Like, what have been the highlights and the low points of Cambly?
I found it's really useful. It's not easy to communicate with the native speakers because who is the best person means only native speakers can be the best person to develop uh, our communication to improve our communication skill.
Hmm.
And I found it quite useful. But sometime what happened when emergency occur and we are unable to attend the class and their rules are like before 6 hours or 12 hours we have to cancel the class, otherwise
Mm.
we can miss our 30 minutes. So that kind of problem is there. And one more thing, it's a bit costly for Indians due to the currency difference.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because for most, because I think that Cambly, compared to a lot of other online places, is actually relatively cheaper. But that doesn't mean that it's not expensive, for some people. Um, like, does that mean that you have to reduce the amount of times that you can do your classes?
Actually, I have subscribed Cambly for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. But
That's
I thought that if
fantastic.
I subscribe for 15 minutes, I'll learn nothing. If suppose I told you that I want to learn this topic and you start and within 15 minutes we come into the flow and just the time is over, then it's useless.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely with that one. I think it's 15 minutes is you, and like, for example, now, right? We have, this is our first meeting, and, we have to get to know each other first. I want
Yes,
to hear what you're looking for, what, your hopes are for the English. By the time we're done, we will just be finished, and so
yes.
I don't think 15 minutes is long enough for sure. So half an hour, I think, is just right, actually, just
Yeah.
perfect.
What I do actually, I wanna learn pronunciation, neutral pronunciation. So since many days, means I was learning two things, IELTS and pronunciation.
Yeah.
So after taking so many teachers, I got two teachers good for pronunciation.
Yep.
But what happened? They are not available according to my time in my time space.
Yes, this
I
will be
need
a problem.
10 p.m. to 12 p.m. So I thought that I need at least three to four teachers. Means I can book lesson with them because I'm planning to extend my Cambly subscription. So once I'll get three to four teachers, I can keep booking lesson with those people only. Means they know me, they know what I required, and they can teach me according to the my requirement.
Yes,
So I'm
it's
just
always the
taking,
best.
and yeah, and Alex has a message on Facebook that who will teach pronunciation or accent reduction. I think you and two other teachers were had given reply, and you were one of them, but your time was not available.
Yes, I mean, that was the only thing. I think that, like, yeah, that's the thing. So 10, so when you say 10 o'clock, that's 10 in the evening, 10 p.m. or
Yeah,
10
10 p.m. 10 p.m.
10 p.m.,
Indian Standard Time.
which makes it, sorry, what would be the time difference here?
I think 4 hours.
4 hours. Okay. Um, for 10. So, well, that's about 6 o'clock our time, right? That would be
Yes.
about 6 o'clock our time, I think. That might be all right. I mean, I'm currently staying in Italy with my partner,
Okay.
so I'm actually an hour forward from the British time. But
Okay.
7 o'clock, that would make it 7 o'clock my time. Generally, that's the time I finish. But I can always add on an extra half hour if it's one or two times a week. That's not a problem,
Okay.
especially now we're in lockdown. So I have nothing else to do.
Yes.
Okay, so and to clarify, you want to focus on pronunciation is the main thing, and the English preparation. So with pronunciation, now we're talking about things like intonation and timing, um, being able to use things like your punctuation that you would say use when you write. You almost have to include punctuation into your speech as well. And
Yes.
that the whole point, you use punctuation when you write to show expression in speech. That's the point of
Yes.
punctuation. When to stop, when to and that is all like a huge part of pronunciation. One of the things I find that people who learn English is this: they kind of just repeat everything in a long line without any sort of expression, and they talk a little bit like this. Can you see how sometimes then it's hard to keep up with? So if I talk like that, yeah, I'm not putting the intonation on the things that are important. Yeah, I'm not highlighting. And that can make it difficult to understand if you're listening to somebody. So that would be the kind of thing
Yes.
that I would be looking at first. For example, I would get you to read some
Mhm.
stuff for me. And I would look at how you use punctuation when you talk. Um,
Okay.
and also knowing the right places to stop and take a breath when you talk. That's, quite important. Intonation as well. Intonation can have many different, how you say something. You can say the same words and they can come across as something very different, depending on the
Yeah.
expression that you put
Yeah.
behind that.
I want to use all those things like word stress, intonation, catenation, elimination, elision,
Mm-hmm.
assimilation.
Yeah.
Means I know all. theoretical part, and I'm practicing all those things, weak form, strong form. I'm practicing with the tutors.
Yeah.
I'm aware about the theoretical part, but I want to bring it naturally into my speaking.
Okay.
I'm aware about that, but when I speak and I come into flow, I forgot all the things that
Yeah.
it's a weak form, it's a strong form, where to give the stress means when noun is there, we have to stress first syllable. In verb, we have to stress second syllable. And about rhythm, I think I'm not good at rhythm.
I think that it's just, first of all, it's as you said, you've been out of practice of talking on a regular basis. Rhythm comes from listening as well, like this. When you talk, what you're doing is constantly learning from hearing my rhythm. You're hearing that. So practicing conversation. Now, I like to do things like, and this is also good for exams, for example. I like to set up, for example, scenarios, yeah, and then create a scenario in which I give it over to you to talk about that scenario. So I would say, okay, next week I'm going to ask you to talk about a dinner party that you can invite 4 people from all of history, anybody that you admire, yeah. Let's say you can invite 4 people to dinner, and you can have, Jesus, if you want. You can have, Albert Einstein, anybody you want. But the only thing is, I want you to, that it would be, for example, why you have them there. Okay, what is it about that person? So what you're doing is you're talking about somebody you feel passionate about. So you have to use some, what are the words that you want to get across about that person? So you would be practicing talking. So I would ask something like that, and then I would hand it over to you and listen, and we can work through it, and then review how that could have been said more naturally. But it's more about practicing it, the more you
Yes.
practice. And then I think that's really the key. From what I can understand, you said you're so clear on all the, you run the school, so you probably know grammar more than most teachers on Cambly, to be honest with you.
No, no, I'm not teaching in the school. I'm always busy with my official work.
Mm,
That's why I didn't get an opportunity to teach, and I don't think that I'll get an opportunity because my school before it was like nursery to 8th grade, and now it's still 12th grade. So it's gonna increase the workload.
right, right. So, but and please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm just following what you've said. Is my sense is that really it's a case of you just needing to talk more, right? So giving that option, and
Yes,
then having someone who can maybe just sort of guide you a little bit if it's a little bit incoherent. And I don't mean incoherent as in I can't understand it, but lack of coherency, for example, when you talk about something. And also, checking in with some pronunciation issues. So that would probably
yes,
be more my approach with you then. Now that I've really listened to what you're looking for, is creating opportunities for you to talk, and then going through it together with you, and working on certain things. So that's, obviously, and then we grow from there. As we get to know each other, we grow from there, and we see, like, maybe there's something we need to really focus on. Maybe there's a certain
yes,
aspect of it that you really need to develop, and then we might do more work. Even though you know about it already, we might need to focus in on that.
yes.
Mm. So, I mean, how does that sound to you? Is that kind of what you're looking for, or is it? Are you looking for more kind of structured? Today we're doing intonation, tomorrow we're doing that, or
Actually, I'm practicing with teachers like they gave me a paragraph.
mm,
I read it. If my pronunciations are wrong, they correct me, or sometimes I prepare some sentences. I read in front of them. If my pronunciation, stress, intonation go wrong, they correct me.
yeah. So I that's good as well. What I would probably do is just I would encourage a little bit more practicing your pronunciation when you're more talking about your
Your voice
feelings.
is breaking
Oh, is
sometimes.
it? Um,
My internet connection is good. It's above 100
yeah, I'm just
kbps.
yeah, I'll check mine, but Okay. So really what I would like to, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's constantly above 100. Sometimes voice is breaking. Now I'm unable to hear you properly. What exactly you are
Okay.
saying?
Yep, I've just checked it. I mean, it's not as strong as yours, but I'm on 60. My
Okay.
internet speed is on 60. No, sometimes it helps to like a refresh the page. Maybe you want to try that.
Hmm. So I'm just checking that I need one or two more teachers
Hmm.
to teach me. Means I'm going to extend my subscription, and I can fix those teachers to learn from them.
Right. Yes. So that's great. I mean, and I think you're doing the right thing is just, going around and really just, there's so many teachers here on
I
Cambly,
checked many teachers, but teachers clearly told me that we are not the right person to deal with that topic. So
Mhm.
you'll have to search another one.
Yeah. Well, I think and then I think the great thing about Cambly is that people will be honest with you, because what we don't want
Yes,
is for you to waste your time. If there's a teacher is because people come to Cambly as teachers, not necessarily as qualified English teachers, but
yes,
their qualification is their ability to speak English. So some people are there purely for free talk, and so it's good. It's good they're being honest with you because then they're not wasting your time
yes,
you
yes,
know
yes,
and they're
yes.
being respectful to you by not saying yes, okay. um actually, I don't know, my mother is uh my mother is
I'm unable to hear you.
oh, you can't hear me, that's such a shame. Would you like to try
Miss,
to?
this sound is breaking continuously, so I cannot understand what sentence you have spoken.
Okay, did you understand, can you understand me? Can you maybe try?
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I've just checked my internet and it
It's not.
seems quite strong at the moment. So I'm not quite sure why this is happening, but hopefully it'll get better. Um, another person,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. You could always check with, uh, this is another teacher you could also check if you feel like she's she's my mother, suggesting my mother.
Okay.
But she thinks she has a very nice English accent, and she would be very good
Okay.
with pronunciation and stuff. So you could always book a class with her and see if she's available. But like I said, I'm happy to help. But I explained to you, like, I would be more inclined. I would want to hear you talk about your own personal feelings and thoughts about things. And even though we can do reading as part of the classes, um, it's one thing to read it. It's another thing to really express your thoughts and feelings. And so I would want to hear how you do that. And that's the area that I'd be more likely to work on pronunciation with you. So we would have topic-based conversations, which is very good for IELTS preparation as well. But topic-based
Yes.
conversations in which we would focus on how you express yourself, how you talk about what you feel.
Yes.
Mm. So what is that? So is that kind of something that you would be interested in doing, or are you looking more for like a kind of reading and like you were doing with the other teachers?
No, you can give me according to you, not an issue.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Okay. So anyway, listen, we have 9 minutes. I have a good sense of what it is that you're looking for now. And you can have a think about it and you can send me a message. We don't have to make any decisions right here, but you can have time to think about it. I sent you
Yeah.
my mother's thing as well. You can always check her. Um,
Okay.
but before we go, I'd like to just talk to you a little bit and just let's have a little chat about each other. So do you have
Yeah, yeah. I'll get an idea.
yeah. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask me?
No, you just try to teach me. I'll check that means does it suits me or I just want to check your teaching style.
Ah,
Means
okay.
second book next lesson.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, for example, I would do, hang on, let me just see if I can just find this link, because this class for me is more about getting to know you and us discussing what it is we're looking for in the class. I was
Mhm.
not thinking that we start straight into the class. What I really wanted to do is to
Yes,
just get a feeling, if I'm able to offer you what you're looking for. Yeah.
yes,
Um, I'm gonna, for example, like say if I sent you this link, right? For example, and remember I told you that, say I would ask you about inviting some people to dinner. So what I might
yes.
do is, for example, give you this just as a little something to look at, yeah? And you could have a look at some of these adjectives and words that sort of talk about personality and different types of people, yeah? Positive attributes,
Mm.
which you can incorporate or not, yeah? And I would say to you,
Um,
okay, so Shahan, next week next time I see you, we're gonna
yes.
have a chat, so you can have time to think about it, or so you can go, oh, what's that word? I want to describe this person. You can have a look at this.
It's asking me email and all that.
Uh, mm, I just click the box that says email. I just click the X in the corner. Is that
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Uh, So it's just this. This is just only because I'm just found something I have and just to show you some kind of example.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So I would give you a bunch
okay,
of positive
okay.
attributes to speak about somebody, for example, and it's just an opportunity to learn some vocabulary as well.
Yeah.
But you could have some time to think about it. So I'm not going to like necessarily throw you in at the deep end. And
Yes.
then we would have a discussion on a particular topic. Um, I
Okay.
really like to introduce, synonyms and stuff like that when we're talking as well, like just developing your ability to express what you think, you know.
Yes. Shall I read these words and
No, 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 no,
sentences?
not now, because what I'm showing you is what I would do if we were booking classes. I would say, okay, if we've had a class today, what I'm going to say to you now is,
Okay.
okay, I'm sending you this list of things in our next class, and I will give you time to have a think about it. I'm not going to just go, do this now. Okay. I like my students to have time to think about the class that's coming up and prepare themselves a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just showing you an example as if I was to say next class, I'm going to ask you about 4 people you will invite to dinner. Okay. By
Okay.
the way, I've sent you a link with some, positive adjectives you can include if you want, or
Hmm.
not, if they're suitable to what you want to say. So I just like to send little links and stuff. But if you want to try a little bit of reading, um, we can try something here. Let's just try something easy. Uh,
I think it's easy. It's not much difficult.
yeah, it's not what it is it's talking about your thoughts, yeah, and listening to how you
Yeah.
express that, because one of the things is when how you're coming across, yeah, is the
Hmm.
big challenge often is how you come across when you talk about your thoughts and your feelings. How do the intonations express themselves, reading is fantastic, yeah, but you're literally reading
Yeah.
someone else's thoughts, yeah.
Yes.
And it's another skill to express, you know express what you're thinking and talk about your thinking when you do an
Okay.
exam or an IELTS or something like that, that they're only
Hmm.
going to want to hear your thoughts, and how you bring that across is also really, really valuable to sort of develop that skill. um,
Yes.
so, obviously we have the Engu articles that can always be used up. I would also like to, I would want to know a little bit more about things that are of your interest. What topics are interesting to you? So if we're going to do some reading, I'll find stuff that's of interest to you. So again, you are able to express your feelings more about it. Yeah, you have.
Now you have sent me link. You have given a topic, and I'll have to express myself on those topics in next session.
Yeah, the first link
I can do it.
the
No.
first link I sent you is an example. This is just examples, yeah? The first link I sent you is some adjectives that can help you
Yes.
talk about who you would invite for dinner. Yeah? The
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
link I sent you is an Engu article. Have you seen them? Yeah. And that is
Yeah.
just another thing we can do, which is reading and checking pronunciation like you did with the other tutors. Yeah. So I've sent you two
Yes.
links as just to get a sense of some of the things that we could look at.
Okay.
The second link is an Engu article. What I would like to know is what are topics that are interesting to you, so we can choose
Okay.
appropriate articles for your interests. So
Yes.
tell me
Yes.
now, tell me a little bit about the kind of things that are interesting to you. Like, what do you like to read about?
I think, yeah, I think it's better you have given first link and some adjectives are there to describe the personalities to talk about
Mm-hmm.
them, and I'll express my thoughts because nowadays I'm practicing like teachers sending me some paragraph, or I'm preparing myself some sentences or some paragraph, and I'm speaking in front of them. It's a new idea that already you have given me material, and I have to use those vocabulary. I'll get new vocabulary as well as my pronunciations
Exactly.
will
And that's
improve.
the kind of life you said you were interested in my teaching style. That's the kind of thing I like to hand it over to you, that you're going to talk about your feelings, but I'm not going to just throw you in the deep water, just go. It's like, here, this is what we're going to talk about. Here's some help, some adjectives. Use them if they're right for you, but it's an opportunity to learn. And
Okay.
also synonyms. I can't, express as much about how important it is to learn. So when you're talking for a period of
Mhm.
time, you have.
Okay, only 2 minutes left. I think that we have communicated with each
Mhm.
other. So please let me know which pronunciations of mine are not proper and where I should work. Means I'll prepare myself a little bit.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I think that it's also, there are some things in your sentence structure that could be worked. So it's not so much like your pronunciation is not too bad, but there will be certain words, for example, letters, that could be uh, stressed more. Yeah. When you're talking. So,
Okay.
because sometimes there will be two words that when you speak, they mold into one. And because you talk,
Okay.
maybe you say it too fast. So it's about having the pacing. Like, that's one of the first things I would like to work with you with, is the pacing of how you say the individual words. And I'm saying that because
Okay.
it's how I understand. It's like, if it's too many words together, sometimes it's hard to follow. So that's one of the things I'd like to work on with you. Um,
Okay.
and also a little bit of sentence structure. Yeah, just rearrange it. But we'd work
Okay.
on that as we go through. I'd sort of bring that up with you as we go on. So yeah, pacing would be the first
Okay.
thing. Pacing of expressing yourself, and intonations as well.
Okay. Okay. Share with me your schedule.
Yes, I can. Can you see? I have it on. I usually finish at 7. Yeah, so that's not on my schedule.
Okay.
So if we were starting, I would open that space up for you, just so you know that. I would open that time
Okay.
up, so
Okay.
it won't be available. If you look on my schedule, you will not see that available, but only because it's not open now. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I can share it with you anyway if you like.
Okay.
Okay.